This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, ladies and gentlemen. We're late. Blame it on Uncle Fulio. He's on the way. Blame it on him when he gets here.
Formerly known as
Uncle Fulio. You know, formerly known as. He thinks he's the artist Prince now because he hasn't been around for a minute. Anyway, the Knicks get the win. First game of the season versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, 119-111. You know, it's the first game of the season, so I don't know if there's a whole lot to chew on, but there are some things that we saw, right? You know, we saw him play a faster pace. They scored 119 points. We saw him play a faster pace. We saw a deep bench. What did he play? 11 guys today? Right? 11 guys?
Yep. Yep.
Some of the substitutions that he made, some of the early substitutions surprised me, right? I thought, I thought Jordan Clarkson would be one of the first guys off the bench. Yeah, I mean, he was 4th or 5th guy off the bench, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he came into the second quarter.
He didn't come into Landry Shamet got off the bench before Jordan Clarkson did. That surprised me. Right? And, I don't know if it's the defense. I don't know if it's the decision-making. Right? But it surprised me. We'll get to that. But just a quick recap of the game. The Knicks and the Cavs, 2 powerhouses in the Eastern Conference. Kick off the season at Madison Square Garden. And the Knicks go up, 15 in the first half. Mike Brown used his bench, used his rotation, but the Cleveland Cavaliers kept coming back. Donovan Mitchell went crazy in the third quarter. What did he score? 18 points in the third quarter? Something like that. Maybe it was more than that.
Yeah, I think it might have been like 13 straight, though, or 11 straight.
Yeah, I mean, I think he scored the first 10 points of the quarter by himself, maybe 13 points of the quarter by himself for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Donovan Mitchell, he looks in rare form. I was on Barbershop Sports Talk last night, I think it was. And, we were talking about MVP candidates, and I was like, yeah, Donovan Mitchell I think he's an MVP candidate every year, but this is one of those times when I think he's going to have an awesome year. You know what I mean? I think he's just primed to have one of those years. Donovan Mitchell. He's just at that. He's like probably at the peak of his powers. And he showed it in the third quarter. Now, they didn't have enough to finish out the game, obviously, with Darius Garland on the sideline, DeAndre Hunter on the sideline, the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson not playing. Josh Hart didn't play. Right, but the Knicks, I think the Knicks showed and proved tonight that they have a deeper bench than the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what I mean? Even without, both teams missing 2 key pieces, and the Knicks do what they did tonight. I thought it was a good first win tonight. You know what I mean? And an impressive win, and I think there was, good all around scoring tonight. There wasn't a lot of one-on-one basketball. I mean, there was some there's going to be one-on-one plays always, right? But there wasn't a whole lot of one-on-one basketball tonight from the Knicks. Good even scoring throughout, right? Jalen Brunson, the Knicks were led in scoring by OG Anunoby, 24 points, 14 rebounds. If we can get that from OG for the season, you know, the Knicks would be
Give me
almost
10 rebounds.
What'd you say?
I said, give me 10 rebounds.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Give me 10 for
14
OG.
14 tonight.
What he averaged? 4 last year?
Yeah, something like that. 14 rebounds tonight. You know, part of that has got to be the faster pace, right? You know, there's going to be more rebounds to go around. And he gobbled them up tonight. 23 points for Jalen Brunson. Didn't really shoot the ball well. 5 for 18 from the field, 1 for 9 from the three-point line, 12 for 13 from the free throw line for 92.3%. 23 points, 5 assists. Karl Anthony Towns had 19 points and 11 rebounds. He shot okay, 41.7%, 25% for the three-point line. Mikal Bridges had 16.6 assists. Ariel Hukporti started tonight, 17 minutes and 45 seconds, had 2 points and 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He's actually a decent passer. Ariel Hukporti. You know, I mean, you know, he's not gonna be doing like, you know, getting 6, 7, 8 assists per game, but he's a decent passer though. You know what I mean? He surprised me with it. What'd you say?
Not per game, but I can see him having a game, you know, with 6 assists, 7 assists.
I can see that.
I can see that happening.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Deuce McBride, he played 25 minutes tonight, 15 points. He was 4 for 6 from the three-point line. Listen, you know, I want to talk a lot about Deuce because, you know, it's just from what I see, the speed that he's playing with a lot of confidence. He's not afraid to shoot the ball. He's not afraid to dribble the ball. I still have concerns about our ball handle. And from the first play of the game, I had concerns about it. We'll talk about that a little bit. But Deuce McBride he might be more of a 6-man for us than Jordan Clarkson. I ain't going to hold you. You know what I mean? I feel like Mike Brown is a little bit nervous with Jordan because of, you know, the unpredictability. So he might be a little bit nervous. With Deuce is steady. He makes good decisions. You know, he's not going to, you know, take some crazy wild shot. You know, he's under control. You know, he plays crazy defense. You know what I mean? You know, and Jordan Clarkson is, you know, just a little bit of a, I don't know. You know, he's just, he'll bug out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I think Mike Brown is probably trusting, well, he obviously trusts Shamet more than he trusts Jordan Clarkson right now. And Deuce is, you know, there was a lineup out there where it was Deuce and Brunson, Mikal, OG, and Karl Anthony Towns, and that was my favorite lineup of the night. You know, it just looked natural, looked like it fit well, it looked smooth. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's a lot to go on. You know, it's the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts just on this game? And
Well, it's funny because the last thing you said was your favorite lineup, and to me, the first thing that stood out to me was that starting lineup because obviously Mike Brown wants to keep Towns at the 4. You know what I mean? Like, because he had that opportunity to go ahead and start him at the 5, insert Deuce, which again, if it wasn't Robinson, Deuce was going to be my guy to say, start him and put him in that starting lineup. And so it was interesting that he decided to keep Towns at the 4, as opposed to putting him at the 5, even knowing that, you know, he's going to play both positions. So I thought that was interesting. It also made me think about the implications on what's really going on with Mitchell Robinson, but we could talk about that later. And then Deuce was my player of the game. You know what I mean? Like, so I agree with you on that front as well. Every time that lead got cut to 1, it was Deuce that came and hit a big 3 and kind of got us back the momentum or stabilized us or whatever you want to call it. But he was the guy that came through in those moments to keep us with the lead. I think they gained the lead once or twice, but you know what I mean. For the most part, he was the guy that kept bringing us back, putting us back in position to keep control of the game. So yeah, Deuce will be my player of the game for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what I saw from the starters. It was a weird contrast from what we're used to seeing 6 guys play off the bench. You
Mhm.
know, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And get minutes. I also think it puts pressure on that second unit continuously and constantly to perform in your minutes. You know what I mean? Because you may get them, but they may be short. You know what I mean? And then I think the extent of your minutes is going to be based off how you're playing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the rotation. We'll get into some game stats in a little bit, some other game stats, but let's talk about the rotation, right? You know, I know people want to talk about it. Mike Brown played a lot of guys tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Tyler Kolek was part of that rotation, played 13 minutes. Jordan Clarkson played 13 minutes. Landry Shamet played almost 14 minutes. Trey Jemison played 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Ubaselli surprisingly only played 12 minutes. Right. You know, we all expect Ubaselli to be, you know what I'm saying? Like a huge rotation guy. He only played 12 minutes tonight. Right. And then, of course, your regular guys, OG, Carl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson. Those guys played heavy minutes. OG played 37 minutes, guys. For all the minutes police out there, he played 37 minutes. Sean Richardson. Because he's one of those guys. Carl Anthony Towns played 30 minutes. Mikal Bridges played 33. Jalen Brunson played 34 minutes tonight. But there's a lot of guys. It was spread out. Minutes were definitely spread out. What do you take from that, Tony? And I'm gonna get Uncle Fulio, or the content creator formerly known as Uncle Fulio, in here in just a second. Go ahead, Tony.
I mean, going back to my first point, that also surprised me with Yabusele's limited minutes, considering we were down a center and Haporti got promoted in this case. So salute Josh.
What's up?
So yeah, his limited minutes, knowing that him and Carl Anthony Towns had uh been slotted potentially as 4 and 5 guys, right? The only guys that's playing the 4 and 5 for us. I would have thought that pardon me, Yabusele got more minutes tonight. So I think that's also a testament to Haporti's performance
Mm-hmm.
in his limited minutes. But also we see a lineup with OG at the 5, which we I don't know if we really talked about that possibility. So yeah, I think Mike Brown is experimenting, and he has a luxury too. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if another game coming up, we don't see a Shamit or we don't see a Clarkson, and we see Diawara. You know what I mean? So it may be based off the matchups and who we're playing and the lineups and things of that nature. But it's a luxury that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah. Now, no doubt. Uncle Fulio, and I got my man Spree on the line. We'll get to him in a second. Uncle Fulio, it seems like it's been years. What's good?
Years,
It feels like it's been years.
a year, I would say, for the most
Okay.
part. Salute to you, Sim. Salute to you, Tony. Salute to the MBK fam. My dog is in here wilding out because I never bought him inside my
Yeah.
office
This
before.
man got a dog and everything now.
Yeah, he's wilding out. His little husky.
Get a
But
hard time having. No, man, I ain't gonna start yet. Go ahead.
yeah.
I remember when you bought him.
Yeah. He was a baby. Now he's almost, you can see him. You see his tail wagging in the back.
Yeah.
Anyways, phenomenal win today. Salute to Tony, salute to Sim, salute to the MBK family. Good to be back. Phenomenal win today on opening night. I felt like the Knicks had to set the tone. Listen, this team has championship expectations. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for, as far as this team being legitimate and everybody giving the Knicks credit and the organization credit. And I feel like they need to come out and set the tone against a fellow Eastern Conference contender in Cleveland. But as far as the rotation, Sam, listen, I think that this is what a lot of Knicks fans have been hoping for. More minutes for all the guys that are coming off the bench instead of these 8-man rotations that Tibbs was trotting out there every night, particularly on opening night when he didn't have to, right? But you see 11 guys get a chance to play tonight. You know what I'm saying? And this is with, 2 key players being out, Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson. So I'm interested to see what the Knicks are going to do, what Mike Brown's going to do moving forward once those guys get back. But I think we'll still see 10, 11 guys some nights. I believe we will see that. I think Mike Brown's been known for that throughout his coaching career. And I think that he's going to bring that out there. Some, like you said, 37, 38 minutes for OG Anunoby, but Brunson, 32, 33 minutes. Mikal Bridges, 30, something around the same range. I think that's very, very important for this team throughout the course of the season. And, not to move forward, move ahead a little bit come playoff time. That level of minutes, if the Knicks can be consistent with that level of minutes, I think that they'll be much more successful moving forward. Guys are getting that amount of rest, and a lot more players are seeing the floor. I seen Mike Brown experiment with a lot of different lineups tonight. The Kolek Brunson minutes I thought were very interesting. Having, either one of Brunson and Cat on the floor at all given times. You know what I mean? Not having them on the floor at the same time. Mixing that up. Ariel Hukporti, again, tremendous game from him. He played really, really well in his first NBA start. I thought that was pretty good. And Jordan Clarkson, I'm surprised about him too, Sam. I'm not sure if you want to get into that now, but I'm very surprised about the lack of minutes that he played and lack of confidence shown in him by Mike Brown. So overall, good win.
Yeah. Well, let's get the spree. Let me get to a couple of super chats. Then we can get the spree, and then we can talk about Jordan Clarkson and all of that. All right. And a couple of people in the chat I want to respond to, especially Sean. Always got to respond to Sean. First, Ghost Rider, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Says salute to the panel, because Uncle Fulio wasn't Josh. Josh got a more mature name now. Wasn't on the panel at the time, so he said salute to the panel. Then Jason Benjamin said to think. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Says to think people wanted Brogdon over Tyler. I mean, you got to understand though, Jason. It makes sense because Tyler. Brogdon had the experience, right? You know him to be a floor general. He's played it. He's been in the playoffs and all of those things. So he had the experience. So that makes sense. Tyler, he's working his way up the ranks, and it's still yet to be seen when Josh Hart comes back what role Tyler Kolek is going to play. But he played well tonight. You know what I mean? You can't take anything away from him. He played well against a contending basketball team. Tony asked me earlier during the preseason if I think Tyler Kolek could play. And I said, I want to see him perform against a good basketball team. And he performed against a good basketball team tonight. Right? He did well. So, he may be earning himself some minutes. This is his chance, right? Josh Hart is out. So this is his chance to earn himself some minutes, and right now you might still be looking at a training camp battle, right? Josh Hart is going to play when he gets back. So you might be looking at who's going to play, Landry Shamet or Tyler Kolek, right? Who's going to be that 11th guy if there's going to be an 11th guy? There's a lot to talk about with the rotation. When Mitch comes back, is Ariel Hukporti going to play? Jemison is, probably not going to play. Right now, he's just filling in a couple of minutes. So there's, I still do think, experimenting is what Tony said. I still do think he's figuring out the lineups and figuring out, who's going to be the end of the bench guys. Because when it comes down to the playoffs, it's not going to be an 11-man rotation. I don't think there'd be an 11-man rotation in February. You know what I mean? Not a rotation. And I'm not saying those guys won't play, but because there's going to be load management. We already have that with Mitch. There'll be some time for those guys to play throughout the season. And this is right now a time for Tyler Kolek to prove that he belongs out there on the floor. He can get minutes over Landry Shamet. You know, I got Spree on the line. Spree, what's good, man?
Sam, what's going on, man?
I'm feeling good. Just got the win.
Yeah, me too. I'm feeling great. Uncle Fulio, it's been a minute, man. Tony Crow, hope you had a good off season. I know it's just the regular season, but I think I felt like tonight was an important game. I know guys are out on both sides, but I feel like you need to set the tone of the season, you know?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I said a long time ago, early, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks got blown out this game. Remember that, Tony? You know, I didn't want them to, but, you know, it was just all because Cleveland had the chemistry and da-da-da-da, you know. But, you know, the Knicks played good. I'm not going to say like point, but played good.
I mean, yeah, other than like 5-6 minutes where I think the ball got a little stagnant, but overall, I like how the ball moved most of this ball game. I like we got up 43s. I thought we got a lot of good looks we missed. I like that Mike Brown gets an A for his first game from me. If you want to give him an A+, that's fine. I'm giving him an A. I've been asking for many years for Jalen Brunson to not have to bring the ball up the court every time. Now, okay, this was like the first Knicks game I have seen in a long time. I can't remember how many times in the Jalen Brunson era where other guys were actually bringing the ball up and Brunson got to rest a little bit. So, like, having him play off ball a little bit is good for Brunson. I know I want the ball in Brunson's hands in money time. I understand that, but you need to have some variety. And one thing I think it does, Sim, when you play Brunson off the ball, especially early in the game, is the other guys can feel a part of it. That they're handling the rock, they're feeling a part of the game, and Brunson can rest a little bit. So I think that I know he played a lot of guys, and he's going to get a ton of praise on that. But I want to point out the fact that I like what they did with the ball handling responsibility, sharing the wealth, so Brunson doesn't have to carry the load the whole season, Sim.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the ball handling though. All right.
Yeah.
Because you know, there were more people bringing the ball up than I think I've ever seen before. But I'm still a little nervous about it. You know, there were a couple of turnovers, you know, well, maybe just one turnover. Maybe it was OG passing it to whoever, and maybe at the end of the first half, I thought the very, very first play, Brunson ended up hitting the three in the corner, but Mikal Bridges had some trouble bringing the ball up against Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's not even that great of a defender, you know, but he had some trouble bringing the ball up against him. So it still does. I'm still a little nervous about it.
I hear you. I mean, like, I'm nervous too, Sim, but like the only way we're going to learn it and the other guys are going to learn how to dribble, because I don't think they've ever been asked to do. I think they have to go through it, Sim. Like, I think it's good for them. I know that Mikal struggled at times bringing it up, and I know OG looks unorthodox at times, but you can't have Jalen Brunson doing it every single play. So I
agree.
Yeah. So it's that balance there. I agree with you. Ball handling to me is a critical component in the playoffs, which is why I kind of like Kolek getting minutes, especially early, giving him confidence, seeing what he can do. Look, Kolek struggled at times defensively, but I don't mind it. Like, it's the regular season and he's learning. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my only thing with that is, you know, are these guys really learning to handle the ball at the age that they are now? I don't know if they're learning to handle the ball at the age that they are now. I think their ball handling skills is basically what it is. You know.
Okay.
I do think they could get more comfortable with it though. To Spree's point.
Yeah, I can agree with that. They can get more comfortable with it. I mean, I just still have concerns. So I hope that Tyler Kolek does work out because he can handle the ball. Deuce, I think, has shown that he can handle the ball. I just worry about when teams bring heavy pressure.
I'm with you. We've struggled with that. We've struggled with that.
Or you need to get a bucket at the end of a game, and you know, talking about playoffs, come playoff time, if you need to get a bucket up at the end of a game and set up something, particularly in the half court.
Right.
Who's going to be able to who the Knicks going to run the offense through outside of Brunson?
Exactly. So I'm still a little concerned about that.
No, I'm with you. I mean, it's just something we have to be always concerned about. We have to find ways to take some pressure off of Brunson. So I'm trying to find ways, but I like that Mike Brown's trying here. Also, I just want to say this. Look, Cat, I'm giving Cat a pat. I mean, here's the thing about Cat. He came in, they said he was injured coming into the game with the quad. I'm giving him credit for playing, toughening it out and playing. And he had a big and one late in the game. I think it was actually off of a Clarkson pass. Clarkson didn't play great, but Clarkson did have a nice pass there. That was a big play. I mean, but Towns, you look at the box score, and Towns had 19 and 11, and I don't really feel like. Did you feel like it's weird, Tim? And he did this last year, where like you look at the box score with Towns, and he's got like a 20 and 10, and I don't really feel like Towns had a great game.
I mean, he didn't have a great game, no. And listen, Cat's we know he can score the basketball, right? He's gonna score. He's gonna be able to score the ball. That's what he does. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not surprised that he had 19 and 11. I'm not mad at his game today.
But when you watch that game, Sim, did you? He did this all the time last year where I go to the box. I don't look at the box score during the game. I look at it after the game. I didn't feel like Cat had 19 and 11. I thought at times like I didn't feel him, but then he still has a 20 and 10. It's like it's amazing.
It's because he didn't really need to make that big of an impact today.
That's true.
He didn't need to. And on top of that, he started off the game with 2 quick fouls, so he was out. He only 1 minute tonight.
Yeah.
So
exactly, that was his only mistake tonight. Was the fouls that got him out of the game.
The foul
because he cooked in the second half when we needed a run. I want to say I think it was the fourth quarter, but it was a crucial moment where we went on a 15-0 run, I believe, and he was huge in that stretch.
Mm-hmm.
He had one terrible. I mean, he had a ton of terrible fouls, but he didn't need to grab Mobley. No, it was Jared Allen. He grabbed Jared Allen's arm in the paint. I'm like, you didn't need to do that. Like, he does some dumb fouls, and that drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's Cat. I don't know if that's Cat. I don't think it's just like I'm saying, I don't think Mikal Bridges is gonna all of a sudden become this ball handler. I don't think all of a sudden Cat's gonna learn how to not foul. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
It's what he does. That's how he
Tim,
plays.
last thing for you before I go. I know you got a lot of callers, I'm sure. Last thing on Bridges, really quick. Mm-hmm. I know he's working on his ball handling, and I'm with you. Like, I still am nervous, but I do feel like Bridges is going to look more comfortable with the way we play fast because he just is in great shape, and his type of game, Sim. I know he struggled a lot last year in the regular season, but Bridges is a fluid player, and he should be good this year. That's all I'm going to say. I have a good feeling about Bridges this season. I know people will throw. So I like Bridges. I'm on the Bridges bandwagon this year. That's all I got.
I think he'll be good this year.
Yeah,
he'll be good. I don't know if he's going to be as good as OG this year, but I think OG might be primed to have a really, really good season. But Bridges he'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to hope, Sam. Let's hope that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm really proud of the team. It's one game, but you know what it's all about. It's being a healthy team and getting it done when it really matters. But we're learning, and part of the regular season is exploring. Like, we got to know what works, what doesn't, play all the different lineups. So very positive for Mike Brown. He gets an A. I'll give him an A+ tonight. I said A. I'll give him the A+.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give him an A+ too. I think he did a good job tonight. I'm gonna tell you where I thought he did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
And something that Tom Thibodeau would have done that he didn't do. When the game got tight, when Cleveland actually took the lead, he stuck with this is what I'm doing. I'm not gonna all of a sudden start snatching out players and doing things, and I'm not just I gotta go back to Brunson and Cat and this guy and this guy and this guy. He stuck with the guys that he had. And I'm not saying Thibodeau never did that, but, we all seen Thibodeau panic and say, Let me get Brunson back in the game, and let me get Cat back in the game, and these guys.
Yeah.
He stuck with those guys, and kind of let them weather the storm a little bit and figure it out. You know what I mean? So I thought that was, really, really good. That goes back to Tony, what we were saying before. I forgot the exact words, but it's not just about the wins, right? It's about that process of winning too.
The how.
The how, and figuring some things out. So he let those
But when
guys.
you stick with those guys, Tim, when you stick with those guys as a coach, you've coached for many years, like you're saying. Obviously, it's different coaching styles, but it's not. Even if you lose that night game in the right late, it's going to pay dividends. And these guys are going to get trust, and they're going to learn. Like it's not a. You can't just pull guys when they make a mistake. Like, you just can't always do that. You got to live to fight another day. It's about the long picture here.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all, at the end of the day, I don't really care. While I wanted to win this game, obviously I want to win every game, Sim, but you and I both know we're going to be very sad if we don't get to where we need to go at the end of this thing. That's why I'm fine to be sad tonight. I just don't want to be sad in May and June, because I want to be on the float with you, Sim.
I want to be on the float too. I'm even if I'm not invited, I might just jump on it.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll let you go, but thank you.
Spree. Appreciate it. Peace. All right, let's talk about Jordan Clarkson, right? Because I thought Jordan Clarkson was going to get. I thought he was going to be the main guy coming off the bench. When Shamet came in before Clarkson, I was surprised. Very surprised. Maybe it's the defense. Maybe it's the, the control that Shamet plays with, a little bit more control than Jordan Clarkson. They ended up with the similar amount of minutes. And maybe it's him, Mike Brown, still figuring out his players. But what did you think about that, Josh?
So instead of looking at the beginning of when Mike Brown first made the substitutions, I'm looking at the fourth quarter, because I remember them saying on ESPN that Jordan Clarkson only had 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, that's about right. I haven't seen him on the floor as much. But in the fourth quarter, coming down the stretch, when Mike Brown put in Cat in the game to play center, and Jordan Clarkson was in there for Huck Porty, I was like, okay, this is going to be the closing lineup. But after like a minute or so, Jordan Clarkson was out of there. And they had Deuce McBride come on the floor, and I was like, whoa, that's very telling. So, speaking of this Mikal Bridges thing and the ball handling, my hope was that Jordan Clarkson was going to be that guy. So they can run the offense through, give Jalen Brunson a break, and maybe have Jalen Brunson play off ball off of that. But I'm not seeing it, Sam, and I don't know what the reason for that is. I think we'll find out sooner than later. I think it could be defense, but I think, just looking at it from just an eye test thing, I think Jordan Clarkson is just very streaky. I think in order for the Knicks to run that type of lineup that I envision and that type of style that I envision, Jordan Clarkson's going to have to get hot. He's going to have to get hot and have a night where he's just shooting really, really well, and the ball's naturally going to find him. And that way, I don't think that the Knicks are going to run any type of lineups that with that being the primary focus. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's what's going to be the case. And I don't want to say I'm nervous about that. I mean, I just think it is what it is. We've seen Mikal Bridges be that guy at the end of this game. Talking about his ball handling. The Knicks, they let Jalen Brunson run some ISOs for a bit. That wasn't working. Then they said, okay, Mikal, you take it. And then he was able to find Brunson and get his own shot off. So I think it's kind of going to be a mix of that until we figure out who Jordan Clarkson really is going to be this season.
Yeah. Any chance Tyler Kolek played 30 more seconds than Jordan Clarkson?
I don't see it being Tyler Kolek, and I'll give you two reasons. Because I don't see end of the game Kolek and Brunson being on the floor at the same time. That's number one for the defense.
True.
And secondly, Kolek is not someone that I can see getting his own shot. He's not a scorer like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him being there. I think the best way to set Jalen Brunson up as an off-ball guy is at the end of games, specifically at the end of games where you need buckets, is that you have to have him playing off of someone else as far as their scoring ability. And I don't see Kolek being that guy on the offensive end. So defensively, I just don't think it's going to be a match with Kolek. And offensively, I just don't see Kolek's game being that good enough as far as putting the ball in the hole for that to be able to happen.
Mm.
I just think as of right now, it's going to be Bridges or Deuce, and Clarkson can get in where he, whatever he can.
Yeah. What do you think, Tony?
I think Kolek has a chance to be the guy who initiates the offense when Brunson's not on the floor. I will say that. One thing that I've noticed about him is when he's aggressive, and it looks like he's kind of figuring that out. When he's aggressive offensively, everything in his game opens up. You know what I mean? And we're already used to like a non-plus defender at that position. So if he's around the right guys around him, and he just plays tough enough, and I think he does play tough. You know what I mean? I think he could mine the second unit for sure. But I also think he won't get heavy minutes or more minutes than a Clarkson per se. At least not now. He would have to earn it over time.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think
I mean, he looked good out there.
And what do you think about Clarkson and his playing time
though? I think what do he have tonight?
1307, something like that.
Even less than I thought.
I think he'll average. Yeah, I already thought that he would probably average around 15. So I think that's still going to be what it's going to be. Fluctuating from game to game, 13 here, 17 there. You know what I mean? But I didn't think he was going to get 20 minutes a game. Not unless some kind of crunch happens with the roster.
I thought he would get 20 minutes. This is a six man a year. This guy can score the basketball. I thought he was for sure going to get at least 20. I thought he would have got the Deuce minutes, basically, what Deuce got tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But Deuce is just
he's too solid right now. And he's too on both ends. Like Deuce is not gonna he's not gonna lose his spot in the hierarchy. I can't see it. He's too valuable on both sides.
Well, let me clarify. I don't mean take Deuce's minutes away. I'm talking about the type of minutes that Deuce got. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. Deuce is going to be on the floor. He's one of those guys that are etched in there. And I think to your point earlier, Tony, I think he solidified himself as the sixth man in this first game. He solidified himself as that. Now there's still a lot more games to be played, obviously, but I expected that to be Jordan Clarkson coming into the season when we got him, the acquisition and stuff like that. And I just didn't see it. Not just with the amount of minutes he got, but when he was on the floor, I mean, this guy was in the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like he was in the corner.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that double big lineup doesn't look fluent. I wouldn't be surprised if Deuce ended up getting into that starting lineup and Cat went back to center. Because that lineup to me looked real smooth. I thought it looked smooth. It was, obviously they played together for a while. I like, when Deuce is out there with Brunson, I feel it feels good. You know what I'm saying? They look smooth. They look like they have chemistry. Deuce can help bring the ball up. Deuce can play defense on the best ball handler if you need him to, or Bridges or OG. You know what I mean? Deuce can knock down the three, so it's still everybody out there can shoot the three and knock it down with that lineup. I really do like that lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if that lineup closes a lot of games too.
I agree. And that's specifically what I was talking about as far as lineups and Jordan Clarkson, the importance of bringing someone like that in. That was my main concern with the Knicks for a very long time. Like somebody else to be able to handle the basketball and for the Knicks to run their offense through to give Brunson that break and he can play off of them, right? And that's what I thought Jordan Clarkson was going to be. But, last season we seen Mikal Bridges do it. He did it in spurts. When Brunson was out for those games going down the stretch of the regular season, Mikal Bridges took that load on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And spurts throughout the playoffs, he did that as well. But it's not natural for him. You know what I mean? And that's why it always worried me about, the Knicks and their chances of going further in the playoffs is having that guy to do that. And I was hoping Clarkson can be that. But Deuce, if he can take that next step, great. Mikal Bridges, if he can take that next step and do what we all thought he was going to do, great. You know what I mean? The Jordan Clarkson is kind of overkill, but that's what it's going to have to be in order for the Knicks to really to do that.
Let me get to a phone call.
I just want to add.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Let me get to a phone call.
No, I just want to add. We're also not at full strength. You know what I mean? So I think that makes a huge difference. I know this wasn't a regular season game, but I also liked Clarkson alongside Mitchell Robinson, which we saw a lot of in the preseason, which is obviously not available now. And I also think like it's not over for Clarkson. Like he still has a shot to close out some games and kind of just get acclimated to the being a new addition. So you know what I mean? Like I think he took maybe 1 or 2 bad shots tonight. But he had some good moments as well, and kind of just missed some good shots. So I think the shots that he missed, may have changed things tonight. Maybe he got a longer stretch if he hit those. But other guys came in and was kind of active or impactful immediately, especially Deuce. But Shamet came in and hit some shots immediately. You know what I mean? So it may garner some more minutes and some more looks tonight where, Clarkson, he came in, missed a couple shots immediately. So that may determine how him getting 13 instead of 17, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case.
Yeah, and we still got a lot of season left. I just thought he was going to be, really a mainstay in the rotation, but, there's a lot of time left to the season. There can only be one person on the line right now because there's a fire alarm going off in my ear. So there's only one guy that I know of, Mr. Benjamin. What's happening with you?
JB.
And Tony, and nice to meet you, Josh. I think it's my first time talking to you, but I've definitely heard you on the show before, so pleasure, talking to you as well.
Likewise, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, a few things, man. I'll make it short so you other callers online. Like I said, great game. I think they had. I hate saying that, but it's nice that they took this first game, national TV, a lot of expectation, and as far as the first game, in my opinion, they passed the flying colors. I think in certain parts of the game, I think Mobley went off in the first quarter. He looked good, but overall, how lucky are we to have a two-way wing like OG, man? Like, his versatility on defense is such a game changer for us that we haven't had before he's been here. Yeah.
Right.
He could defend Mobley when he could defend. He defended Mobley. Defended what's my boy's name? 45. He's just so versatile. No wonder he's played 38 minutes. Like, he's going to be a player where you don't have to keep him on the court.
It's hard.
Like, whatever. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to take him off the floor. Because he does so much. He obviously can knock down a three. He was the leading scorer tonight. He's athletic, so he can get out in transition. He can play in the half court. He can slash to the basket. We've seen him be able to create for himself a little bit. And he can obviously defend all 5 positions. So it's hard to take someone like that off the floor.
He's who they thought R.J. Barrett was going to be. Let's just put it like that, son.
Right, absolutely. You're right about that, man.
Shit, RJ to Toronto. Brought back OG.
Yeah, but listen to this, guys. Since we've traded for him, our record is 66-32. How insane is that?
With OG, right?
66. When he starts the game, we're 66-32 since we traded for him. That's an insane number. His correlation to wins, it's been a correlation to wins. It's just, and watching him getting better and better and better every year. As long as he stays relatively healthy, I don't wish, injury on no player, of course, especially none of our players, but I'm sure he'll miss a game or game here or there throughout the season, especially with the way he plays. He's very physical, he's athletic. He throw his body around. So he might miss a game here and there, but overall he played a wonderful game. Taylor Kolick. Yeah, this is what, and I might be, on my own island with this, but to me, this is what happens when you empower your players. And I'm not going to bring up the previous coaching staff.
Go ahead. You can bring it up.
No.
Go ahead.
No. I'm not going to do that because it would be corny on my behalf when Tibbs brought us to relevancy. And when he came and Randall came and drafting RJ, that kind of started changing the narrative of the Knicks from a laughingstock to respectable. So this is not a shot towards Tibbs. This is just more of a tip of the cap to Brown. This is what happens when you empower young players. And maybe Brogdon's quote-unquote retirement, whatever the case may be around that whole story, Oleg definitely could play on this team as a backup point guard. You see how our offense flows when he's touching the ball, how he gets the ball to his players in the spots they want. When you put solid players around him, he shines. People lost it over summer league. A lot of these guys he didn't even play with or is not even going to play with for the rest of his career. Preseason he had his ups and downs, but he can play. He can play with a Josh Hart. He can play with a Yabusele. He can play with a Huck 40. He's going to set those guys up. So I'm just glad he had a good game, man, because that's why I was always big on not trading our youth, man. In the second and first apron era we're in, you need young, cheap depth. And I never was, into trading him for, in my opinion, an injured, washed-up Brogdon. I never saw the long-term vision in that. Yeah, short-term, but, it's always good to keep young players, and he responded. And then my last point, I'll take it off the air. How do I say it? It's going to be interesting when Mitch and Hart comes back. I think Kolick and Porty, granted they continue their ascension, I think those two need minutes because Kolick is your quintessential. I know everybody brings up Deuce and Clarkson and McBride, but like you said, Sim, those guys they can bring the ball up, but they're not initiating an offense. Kolick initiates offenses. That's just, you can see that. He has that ability. He can break down a defense. He can spray the ball, which Brown wants. So he fits what Brown wants to do on offense. His only negative is that he's small. But what I saw tonight was he gave great effort. So it was really nice to get, see Brown extend the bench. I'm interested in what happened with Hart. And Mitch comes back, but I definitely think Porty and Clark, Porty and Kolick need some minutes throughout this year. We need to see what we have in these young players before we say, all right, we're just going to trade them off to get some old vet. But when that don't work out, what do we have lined up for the future?
Right.
Clarkson and Yabu, and we'll take it off the air. I'm not worried about Clarkson. I think tonight he was pressing a little bit too much. I don't know if he was just very excited to be with the Knicks, the garden, the energy. I'm going to give him a pass. Maybe, first few games. But like I said before, before this year is done, he's going to hit some big shots for us this year. I totally believe that. Tonight, he just seemed a little...
that.
He just seemed like he was just rushing, like he was trying to make a play, and it just didn't come to him. So,
yeah.
And then Yabu, I think we all forget he played EuroLeague.
Yeah, I believe that he'll. What happened? You lost your. You can't hear it, Josh. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I hear everything.
That's your technology,
Okay.
Josh. Mr. Benjamin, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all be good, man.
No doubt.
Peace, family.
That's Josh's technology. He's been out the game for a while. Don't really know what's happening. And there he goes off the screen. Tony.
I say peg out, log up.
Yeah, let's talk about Mitch.
Oh, I ain't going front, man. As excited as I've been for this season to start, this has been my biggest concern.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He sat out, I think, the last 2 preseason games, the second half of the game prior to that, and now, and all of this was under the load management. He's not injured. He's not hurt. You know, that's what has been voiced, and you know, now he's missing the season opener with, you know, I think by, I'll say, law of the NBA, they had to list an injury related to the load management. So it was under the left calf or left ankle load management. But I don't know, man. That's not encouraging. Especially he was on my list of guys to have one of their best seasons.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, load management right from the beginning of the season. You know, and you know what you know, they say it's you know, precautionary. If they had to play him, if they were in a crunch and had to play him,
Yeah.
he could play. You know, but we hear that all the time, right? We hear it all the time about players. It concerns me. You know what I mean? Now let me ask you this: if Mitch is, I don't know, how do you feel about Huck Porty? Right? If there's going to be consistent issues with Mitch and his left foot, his left ankle, how do you feel about Huck Porty?
Oh, I'm confident in her party. I already felt if we're starting to double big with Mitchell Robinson, that there should be some leeway for Huck Porty to play. And I honestly, to be honest, I feel like um the fact that he started today, played well today. Let's see
Mhm.
how things move going forward. I think he's, because it's so much interesting. Like I was saying earlier, Yabusele was slotted as a guy who could play backup 4, backup 5, but his
Mhm.
numbers was limited tonight. You would have thought this would be an opportunity for us to see that more, right? Granted, it's one opportunity first game, but again, it's very interesting that we didn't see more of him, whether it was starting or not, but just at the 5 or more minutes. And I almost think Brown likes Yabusele backing up Karl Anthony Towns and likes them both preferably at the 4 than at the 5. Because why not start pardon me, why not start Towns at the 5 and go with Deuce, which, you know what I mean? Why not you know what I mean, see some Yabusele at the 5 if you're starting Huck Porty, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. But it's also, it's early. He got time to play around and figure out what he really likes. But to your Huck Porty question, I like him. I always thought if we're starting to double bigs, we need him as a depth piece as a big, because Huck Porty's, I mean, Yabusele's undersized.
Right. Right. Sean Richardson said, "What the hell is load management on opening night? I think it's contract negotiations.
Mm, mm.
Why? Why would there be
I don't
contract
like that.
negotiations now?"
I mean, lowering his value per se, and I ain't gonna
Mhm.
lie, like I've been hearing a lot of that, not from the Knicks, but just as a tactic that's used throughout the NBA,
Right.
and you know what I mean, like, so a negotiating tactic, and why we can't pay you this much, but we can pay you this much, or whatever, even lowering your value to the other guys around the league looking to sign you, you know what I mean, next year. I I think it's conspiracy theory, but I understand what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It the situation that the Knicks are in right now, right? Um, they want to win a championship. You know, they put it out there to the world that their goal, their singular focus, is to win a championship. Nothing else matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can wait until, you know, you can wait until the end of the season to play those type of games if that's what you're gonna do. Not, and I mean, you know, when the season is over, when the championship is won by whoever, you don't do that
I
now. You don't take that kind of chance now. I think there's, you know, there's an issue with his ankle.
And to their point, they may not be lying at all. He may be able to play if they really needed him to, but they've been on record from the beginning. They're gonna be cautious all year long. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just surprising because he had this whole week off, you know what I mean, of not activity, and it's opening night and he's not playing. I think that's the biggest like kind of red flag or surprising thing. But it still falls in line with what they've been saying all, you know what I mean, all off season. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna be precautionary. They survived Mitchell Robinson not playing, 65 games last year, so they know they're capable. So it could, you know what I mean? I'm trying to not look at it skeptically, but I understand the skepticism.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch is a key. He's a key component to this team. He's a key anchor to the defense. For the Knicks to be a title contender, I think we need Mitchell Robinson. You know what I mean? So I'm a little concerned about it. Because I don't think Huck Porty, he does well. He's plays with a lot of energy. I still don't think he gives you what Mitch gives you. Mitch is, the Knicks dominated the offensive glass for the most part tonight, right? But, well, 9-4, yeah. But, Mitch, if Mitch was out there, we get 5 more. You know what I mean? So it's like, Huck Porty doesn't replace Mitch. And there's not a lot of Mitches in the league. You know what I'm saying? But the injury stuff is concerning, always concerning. You know what I'm saying, Josh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, yeah, my headphones went out for a second. I think Huck Porty is at a level right now that I think he's at this point in the league, second year in the league, he is a better Mitch than what Mitch was at second year in the NBA. I think that's where Huck Porty is. Huck Porty, and I think they don't have similar games as far as the length and stuff like that, but I think Huck Porty is a really, really good second option for Mitch. I think he's really good at that, and I do share those same concerns. Hey, stop it! I do share those same concerns about Mitchell Robinson's health that a lot of other Knicks fans do as well. But I think that it is a part of the load management thing. And I think Mitch will be fine. I don't think it has anything to do with contracts or anything like that. But I do share that concern about health. I think Huck Porty is a really good, alternative to Mitchell Robinson for this particular team at the 5 with Cat at the 4.
Yeah. I mean, he is. He's really good.
Call him alternative. Yeah, I wouldn't call him alternative. Like temporarily, in like while he's the time he misses. But I look at him as a depth piece, even with Mitchell Robinson.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I share that same sentiment. But I mean, listen, Huck Porty can block shots. Huck Porty's a better passer. Huck Porty seems to have a little bit more of an offensive game. He's not just a rim runner like Mitchell Robinson is. You know what I mean? So he can get that. He can have that same impact. Maybe not as great defensively, I would say, but he can have the same impact on the floor, if not better than Mitchell Robinson. And I'm talking about at this point in his career, second year in the NBA. Cheaper. I mean, I think the Knicks are not really missing anything when Mitchell Robinson's gone, as far as having Huck Porty. You know what I mean? I really don't think they're missing much.
Yeah. Josh, did you feed that dog today?
I did. He's a husky. He just has a lot of energy right now. He's never seen me talk this long before, so it's just like
he's playing with me, talking on the phone.
He just chewed up a brand new baseball that I had. It's like he chewed all the skin off of it just now.
Yeah.
Look at it right here. Look. So yeah, go get it. Go.
Yeah, I mean, Huck Porty, he is a good alternative. He's a good alternative. He rebounds the ball. He's active. He can, he can be a rim protector. I think he's not Mitch though, right? He doesn't have the same length. He's not the same offensive rebounder. I guess we'll see, when it comes time to cover the perimeter. Can he cover the perimeter in that way? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Hopefully Mitch isn't out for long, but You know, it's a problem every season, right? Every season, it's a problem with Mitch, and it's starting to run thin. You know, for real, starting to run thin. I thought he was. I thought he, you know, was eating health food. Now he bought a farm and everything. You know what happened? I thought he was. I thought he was doing right.
How much do you believe this is the actual organization's decision, though, and not necessarily you know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's been on record too saying he's gonna follow suit with their decisions as far as
Mhm.
when to sit and when to play and when, you know, the whether minute restriction or whatever the case. You know what I mean? So how much of this do you think, like, how much should we be concerned, or should we give credence to, hey, if they needed him, he would play, which was stated. You know what I mean? And you know the fact that they're just being extra precautionary.
Tony, I think therein lies the problem. I think the fact that the organization has to plan for him is the issue
Yeah.
because of the amount of games that he over the years. I think that's the issue within itself. So whether the organization made the decision or whether he's you know, legitimately hurt, I think that's the problem within itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is an issue, right? You know, if the organization feels like, okay, we got to hold them back, you know, that means that, you know, they have those concerns about them. You know what I'm saying? They have those concerns.
That
That,
also means two things. If that is the case, as much as I love him, and he's like, you know, I've always been in the Mitch Hive, you know, move him, and that's also been this team's MO in the contract. Yeah, if you know what I mean, if they're not, if they don't think they're gonna resign you, they move you. So it's just interesting. But even with that, sitting him and putting it out there that we have with this concern doesn't really give a glowing endorsement for the team trading for him. You
right.
know what I mean? So it
I don't think
it's
they put that
interesting.
out there specifically. I don't think they put that out there. I think they're treading very carefully about what they say. But the load management thing, I think, is a clue. I would say if I had to guess.
Yeah. Okay. The Knicks took 86 shots tonight. I thought it'd be more, right? They took 86 shots tonight. 22 assists tonight. 21 assists tonight. No, I'm sorry, 22 assists tonight. You know, faster pace, you're expecting more shot attempts. I think that'll come in time. You know, they didn't shoot the ball, you know, particularly well. They shot 43% from the field, 35% from the 3-point line. The Cavs shot better. They shot 46.5%. They shot 41.3% from the 3-point line. 15 turnovers for the Cavs, 13 for the Knicks. You know, the Knicks will shoot better. I'm pretty positive of that. The Knicks dominated the points in the paint, 42-30, 13-11 second chance points. The Cavs had 22 fast break points to the Knicks, 16. You know, the Knicks, though, dominated the glass, 48 rebounds to 32. You know, and that's basically where your game is won, right? You know, they dominated the glass. I'm hoping that we can get that every night from this team. You know, we have the people to do it. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns can rebound the ball. OG rebounded tonight, 14 rebounds for OG. Yabusele can rebound the basketball. You know what I'm saying? You know, we should have some guards that can go to the glass. Deuce can go to the glass. We've seen him do it before. You know, so I think you know, I think this can be something that happens on a regular basis. Bridges had 5 rebounds. Brunson had 4 rebounds. You know, when Mitch comes back, he's going to rebound the basketball. You know, Porty had 5 rebounds. Josh Hart is going to rebound the basketball. We should be one of the leading rebounding teams in the league, if not the leading rebound team. Leading rebounding team in the league.
Arguably, our second and third best rebounders were out tonight. You know what I mean? So OG, this was an outlier for him with 14. Again, like I said earlier, if we could get close to the 10 per game, I would be ecstatic. You know what I mean? That would be a huge change. 5 for Bridges would be great for the season. 5 a game. You know what I mean? So guys stepped up in the absence of Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart in the area that both of them are particularly great at.
Yeah. Any key plays tonight? Key decisions from Mike Brown?
Not particularly from Mike Brown, but in the fourth quarter, that steal that we got, and that we went the other way. I think Bridges made a deflection and Deuce got it, and then took it down, and we got fast break. I mean, I think that was the stopper, right? Because Cleveland was on a little bit of a run. You know what I mean? Like, they took the lead, and we got the lead. We got the lead back a little bit. But then when that play was made, Mikal Bridges making that play, to me, he's the player of the game. When that play was made, I think that we put the game in the bag right there. We stopped that momentum, and we got quick points right after that.
Yeah. Tony, what about
defense is locked in. Yeah.
It's tough because I feel like we had a couple of those crucial breakaway steals. OG had one for a dunk. I think Mikal had 2 for layups and 1 for a dunk and 1 for an assist. But Deuce, man, I think a couple of times he hit them big threes to kind of stop the bleeding when Cleveland was coming on a comeback run and cut the lead to what they want. And the first time he started a 10-0, 15-0 run from us, which was huge. And then the second time, he stopped the bleeding and we maintained the lead. So, yeah, those big threes from Deuce to kind of switch the momentum or stop the bleeding was the 2 plays for me.
Yeah, I think my key was Mike Brown not panicking when Cleveland took the lead and sticking with what his game plan was. Sticking with it. Maybe making some slight adjustments here or there if he needs to, but really sticking with the game plan and letting those guys play through the adversity. Right, that's going to make us better in the end. So that was really my key. Player of the game for me, I don't know if I have a player of the game. Maybe it is Deuce. I think I agree with you, Tony. Maybe it is Deuce. Hit a lot of big threes. Defense. He always plays great defense. I think he's going to get a lot of player of the games this year. I'm serious. If the double big if Mitch doesn't come back, if something happens and Mitch is not here, I don't know if Huck Porty is going to remain that starter. Deuce might get into that lineup. If the double big isn't working, Deuce might be that starting guard next to Brunson. He looks good.
Let me ask you this.
Ball handling is better. Go ahead, Tom.
Let me ask you this, Craig. Brown said he thinks Mikal could be all defensive first team. But in his post game today, he said he thought OG was the defensive player of the game. And I thought that was interesting because I think Mikal had 3 steals, 2 blocks. You know what I mean? I don't know how many deflections he had, which Mike Brown always likes to count those. But he did quote a high number of deflections from OG tonight, which is why he said he was the defensive player of the game. But one, I want to state, it looked like Wingstop is, from tonight at least. Wingstop showed up, what I mean? This is what we expected last year with the Monarch. But who would you say was the defensive player of the game tonight? And what's your thoughts on the 2 of them? You know what I mean? Do you think they kind of lean into that name of Wingstop and live up to it, I should say?
I think they're going to be more comfortable playing the defense as a team. So we're going to see those 2 guys play better defense. I thought last year, OG always plays good defense. To me, Bridges was a little shaky last year, but Hopefully Mike Brown is going to know how to use them, defensively and who to play him on. Just knowing, the strength, in my opinion, the strength issue with Mikal. So yeah, I do think that we get a chance to see that whole Wingstop thing come through, and I think OG might have been the defensive player tonight. That's why he played 38 minutes, because he can defend so many positions.
That's fair.
Yeah, he defends so many positions. Josh, we can't hear you. Yeah,
Lost you again.
Yeah,
the impact though, the impact plays. You know what I mean? I seen one play. I remember one play where I think it was a Mikal Bridges turnover, right? But then he ran down and got a chase down block. You know what I mean? And yeah, he tends to do that. Have those impact plays throughout the game. You know what I mean? That is so big in huge moments. But I would agree that OG is probably the more consistent from start to finish throughout the game.
Yeah.
Just having that impact.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get out of here, the Knicks play Boston on Friday. Is it in Boston or MSG? I don't know.
I think it might be in Boston, because I don't think it's on the app. I think, you know what I mean? So I'm assuming it's an away game. I don't think it's at the Garden, because it's nationally televised.
At the Garden. It's at the Garden. It's at the Garden.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the game is on Prime. It's at the Garden.
Oh, It's a Prime game. All right.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
There we go. I might miss this one. I don't know. Let's see what my Prime subscription look like.
Gotta pony up that $150. Get that Prime subscription, because there's going to be games on Prime. It's on NBC, so there's going to be games on Peacock, ESPN.
So it's not the regular. It's not
the whole inside the NBA moved over to ESPN. Like the everything, the set, everything is the exact same, except it says ESPN and not TNT. It's crazy.
Yeah. So is it the whole? Is it? I have Amazon Prime, or is it like an upgrade for these NBA games?
Nah. It's just on Prime.
So
football is on Prime, all of that.
All right. I should be good then. I might have to re-download it, make sure my password works, but I should be good.
Yeah, it's games all over the place now.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
This is Josh's third, and I got an echo coming from now. This is his third form of technology on this show. Like, what we doing right now? What's happening?
Yeah, it's gotta work on my headphones. I'll get that straightened out for the next show. What I was gonna say, as far as if Mitch misses games or not, I think Huck Porty is gonna be a really good. Like, I'm not really that concerned about Mitch at this point in the season. Let me just put it out there like that. I'm not concerned at all. I think that I would add Deuce McBride as a part of that wing stop. Deuce McBride plays tremendous defensively at the wing position. I think the Knicks look at him more as a wing than a point guard anyway. I think Tyler Cole has the backup point guard role as of right now based on the roster. I think that Deuce McBride is more of a wing, and I would add him to that wing stop, because at the end of tonight's game, Deuce, OG, and Mikal Bridges were just deflecting passes, in there. One-on-one defense was phenomenal. So I would definitely add Deuce McBride as a part of the wing stop, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So what do we think about this Boston game, right? Different Boston team. It's at the Garden.
Is this their opener as well? Is this their first game of the year, Boston?
I don't think so. No, I don't think it'll be their first game of the year. I don't think.
So that means they're either playing. They played yesterday.
And they played the Celtics. They played the 76ers.
They lost today to Philly.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, to Philly.
Okay.
117-116.
Oh, nail biter.
Mm-hmm. Jalen Brown, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Derek White had 25 points. Peyton Pritchard, 16. Namis Keita, 17 points. Anthony Simons had 13. Nemus, I don't know his name. Peter.
All right, so I got a better question. It's in addition to your question.
Okay.
How do you feel about Mr. Tom Thibodeau going over there and giving them some pointers and some information on what we utilized to beat them in the playoffs last year?
I mean, is that what he did? I know it went there,
That's what
but
Brown. That's what Brown said. That's the quote I read from Jaylen Brown. I didn't click on it to physically hear him say that, but that was the quote I read.
He don't coach for the Knicks no more. I guess he could.
Exactly. That's like Tom Thibodeau going there saying, "Well, this is how you beat me. This is how you beat me." I don't think that was the case at all.
Right. You know what I mean? Like if it's a different coach. You know, we got Mike Brown now, so you know everything he's doing is different. So Tibbs can go over there and say, "Yeah, we did this, that, and the third." And Mike Brown is like, "Okay, I ain't doing that."
If you indulge in that information, you could also indulge some other information that could be detrimental. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like,
something else came out where Tibbs said that he felt betrayed.
Oh,
that
yeah,
people that he
trusted.
spoke up for didn't speak up for him. I don't know. He might be talking about
Rick Brunson.
I don't know. Yeah, he might be talking about both of them. I don't know. But Tibbs. I can understand how Tibbs feels, though. I'm not gonna lie. I can understand how he feels. I ain't gonna lie about it. I get it.
Hey, I'm just saying, I was in the Tibbs side, but this thing is kind of making it easier to kind of let go. And Tibbs might be out now. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like that's a fair perspective.
I'd be mad. Like, wait a minute. I got to the Eastern Conference Finals. You fired me, and then now you go get all of this depth that I could have used too. Right? And now the East is weaker, right? Boston don't have all of their players. In the end, they don't have Tyrese Halliburton. And if they get, so all right, I couldn't have took them to the finals. I'd be a little upset. I'd be mad. I'd be pissed off.
I think Tom Thibodeau is probably just looking to get another job, maybe as an assistant or something like that. It could just be that. You know what I mean?
And he won a championship with Boston, right?
He did.
As an assistant coach. So
he did.
It's not like he's not familiar with the organization.
And he's been making his rounds. He was in Denver,
Minnesota.
He was in Minnesota. Yep, with the old Knicks. You know what I mean? So he's been making his rounds, which he does do. He did that before he was a Knicks coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He was making his rounds and consulting.
Yeah. So I expect the Knicks to win Friday over Boston. Obviously it's a rivalry game, so it's going to be a hard-fought game. I expect the Knicks to win.
I agree.
2-0. Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's an early game again because it's
7:30.
Oh, it's 7:30 regular time. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 7:30. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, 7:30. 7:30. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, Josh, any last words before we get out?
Yes. Salute to the MBK family. Feels good to be back. I'm gonna make it a habit to get back on more regularly, and I gotta find something to do with this dog while I'm doing it because he is all over me right now, trying to interrupt what I have to say. But always feels good to be back. And just the last part of note, I want to give a big shout out to the NBA on NBC. Welcome them back. I love the broadcast that they had. I was a big fan.
Melo, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter.
Yeah,
that was pretty dope.
All of those guys. I know Knicks fans don't really like NBC and they hate Marv Albert, but to me, I think that was a part of the glory years. It's a part of the story. So I just want to welcome them back, and I look forward to seeing the Knicks on NBA and NBC. And I think we'll see them next week on either Monday or Tuesday. So, good for them. Good win for the Knicks, and let's keep it going.
No doubt, Tony.
Yeah, man, just good start for us. You know what I mean? Like we didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but we got the spray threes that Mike Brown likes to talk about. You know what I mean? So we could see the system developing and guys being more comfortable running it. So it's great to get a win before it's kind of perfected. You know what I mean? Learning while winning is a great thing. Instead of losing to learn. So let's keep doing that.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Josh, just don't let your dog see Tony's cat jump across the screen. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, don't worry.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. We up out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is